Okay guys, this is another short video on how to do your circle graphs. One thing you need to do is check your notes because we did do some examples in there. So going to be kind of a budget video. Didn't get a chance to do it at school, so this is my improv home office. So you guys, on the one circle graph I want you to do for homework is this one that has the accommodation for the WestJet sweepstakes, car, activity 1, 2, and 3, and your flight. So that's your raw data. You should have that. If you don't have that, just use the data you see right here. All right. Now, one of the things that you really have to make sure you do is once you have all of these numbers, you have to total it all up, including your flight. So the total on mine is $4,965. This is going to be the most important number. Why? Because remember, a circle graph shows us a percentage of a whole. So if this is the whole, every slice we put into it tells us what percentage it is out of the total. This number at the bottom, this is your total. So that's what is represented by the entire circle. Remember, there are three different calculations we have to do a circle graph. It makes them different than any other. The first thing is we're going to calculate our decimal. So this is going to tell us what percentage eventually, but this is the decimal out of it. So remember, the big thing we're going to do is we're going to divide the part into the whole. The whole being what the big circle represents. In this case, is 4,965. You use your data though. Okay, so this one here, now we do the part. So I take 1,500 divided by 4,965. That's going to give me the decimal of, now it's a big one, and you're going to come across this. It's 0.302114804, etc. We're just going to take round to the hundreds. Why? Because it's eventually going to become a percentage. Percent meaning out of 100. So this decimal here, I get 0.30. The next digit would be a 2. 2 is lower than 5, so this stays. If it was a 5 or a 6, then I'd round to 31. Next one, 600. When I divide 600 by 4,965, I get 0.120, so 0.12. So that's 12 hundredths. The next one down, same process, 240 divided by 4,965. That's my total. Remember, the part divided by the whole. It's going to be 0. Now here's a good one. 0.048. Is 8 bigger or less than 5? It's bigger, so now I have to round this up to 0.05. Okay, make sure you are really clear with your decimal points. The next one down is going to be 0.025. We round up to 0.03. 450, which is my third activity, is going to be 0.09. And the last one, my flight, is going to be 0.38. How did I get those? I just divided them by the whole. Right? Now, because on a circle graph, when we are recording it and we're doing it, we always want to write in what it is. So let's say this is my flight, and I'm going to put in the percentage. Now remember, a percentage isn't a number into itself. You must have the percent sign after. How do we get percentage from a decimal? Well, percent means out of 100. So in this first example, there's two ways to do it. If I have 0.30, that's 30 hundredths. So if I put 30 over 100, that's 30 hundredths. It's a review of fractions. Now, that is the equivalent to 30%. Okay, it's a terrible 30. The other way you can think about it is you can multiply the decimal by 100. Or move it 2 decimal places. So 0.30, if I move 2 decimal places, I get 30. You must put the percent after because that percent isn't of itself like a number. It's a percentage. So this one here, 0.12. If I put that over 100, I get 12%. Next one, now this one's tricky. 5 over 100 5%. Next one is 3%. 0.09 is going to give me 9%. 0.38 is going to give me 38%. Okay, that one's pretty self-explanatory. Now, the last column is what students find the hardest. Okay, so this is our percent of circle, or the degrees. Okay, now remember, we have just calculated from the total what percentage. This column here is also a form of percentage. Okay, it gives us like a ratio. You can't even see that up there. There, that's better. This one here gives us what percentage of the total is. Now, what is the number of degrees in a circle? I know you're getting tired of me asking this. We've done this every day for weeks now. It's 360 degrees. So the long involved thing is that we can set up equivalent ratios. To get this, what we do with percentages, if we want to find out what 30% or 0.30 of 360 is, we're going to multiply 360, which is the number of degrees in an entire circle, by the ratio or the percentage of it. But it has to be the decimal. Don't plug in 360 times 30 because you're going to get a huge number and you need like 30 different circles to do that. Okay, so the math on this is we go 360 times the decimal portion. So times 0.3. And in this case, just grab my data here. It is going to be, well, this one comes out to 108.76. So we're going to round that to 109 degrees. Okay. Next one down, we go 360 degrees times 0.12. Remember, this is 12 hundredths. If 495 is 100, I would take 12 of those out. Okay, so this one here is 44 degrees. The next one down is 17 degrees. After that is 9 degrees. And look, does this make sense? This one is 30%, it's 109. This one is 3%, it's significantly less. That makes sense. Okay, if you find that you've got 3% and it's at 300 degrees, you've probably multiplied by the percentage and not the decimal. One more time, 360 times my decimal, 0.09. It's a tiny one, which is, what was that last one? 32 degrees. Is that right? Hold on, let me just check. 9% is 32 degrees. Yep, 32 degrees. And this last one, 38, is going to be 137 degrees. Now, let's just check. Does this make sense? This is the biggest percentage, and oh, it has the biggest degrees. Fantastic. Last thing you do before you can draw your graph is we're going to rank these. We do them smallest to largest on our graph. Doesn't matter how you rank it as long as you know. So let's do these smallest to largest. Keep it simple for us. So 9 degrees is going to be our smallest one. After that I've got 17, 32, 4 is here, this is going to be 5, and this is going to be 6. Okay, so I've got all of my data ready to go. First column, raw data. Total it up. Second column, find the decimal percent. Okay, this is a ratio of how much 1900 is to 4965. You divide the part, each line, by the whole. Next line, multiply by 100. That gives you the percentage. Why? Because we need it for the graph. Third one is we're finding how many degrees of the circle the percentage of that item accounts for. Okay? And if you're confused, type in Khan Academy, you'll get an even more in-depth. Now, with this one is 360 times the decimal column. Not the percentage column, the decimal column. Okay? So, I'm going to take off this information here because I'm going to show you how to build your circle graph. We're just back to geometry now. So first thing is you're going to get something to draw a circle with, which I forgot to bring to my lovely recording studio. So in classic Mr. Paul fashion, let's draw a perfect circle. Yeah, it's pretty good actually, not bad. Now, I'd like you guys to start all of your degrees, your circles, at 12 o'clock. So if you use a compass, it gives you the center. It's really easy to use. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line straight down to the center. This is going to be our starting point. Okay? Now, we are always going to start using our smallest percentage and our smallest degrees. Okay? Now, in this one, we just have 5 things. And where did it go? Hold on. Hold on, hold on. There we go. Okay, this piece of paper is going to be my giant compass. So remember, whenever we're using a compass, protractor I should say, you want to line the center dot up with the center. Run the line along the side, and then you go to where it says the degrees you need. So my first one is 3%, but it's 9 degrees. So I would go up to where it says 9 degrees and make a mark at the end. As soon as I make that mark, I can draw the line to the center. Like so. Okay? Now, here, if I can write it in, 9% is going to be my activity number 2, and it's 3%. You can put it right on the graph. Okay? Next one. The next one is 17 degrees. Now this is where it gets fun, because we are now going to put our protractor on the edge of the last line. Okay? So, here, this is my protractor line. I know it's hard to see. So I line that up. So I'll cover it up. See where it is now? I line it up, center, look for 17 degrees, make a mark, connect it together. I write it in. 17. No, that's not 17. That's 5%. 5%. This one here is my activity number 1. So that one's good. Check. Number 3, 32 degrees. So we line it up. 32 degrees would be out here somewhere. Connect them together. Shunk. Write it in. Third, check. It's 9%, Mr. Paul, not 32. 9%. This one here is activity number 3. We keep going. 1, 2, 3. Number 4. This is my car rental. So this one is 44 degrees, 12%. So 44 degrees. We line up on the last line, point in the center. Okay, I'm going to say 44 is around there. Draw it. Shunk. Just like we did in geometry. So here, 12%. 12%, and this is my car rental. Let's say you don't have room to write that in. You can put a little line to this and write it out here. 12% car rental. Now some of you who are doing the flights, one of the things that you'll know is that you could end up with a whole bunch of these that are less than a percentage. And you don't want to be drawing all these tiny little lines in there. So what you can do is anything that's under, say, like 5 degrees, what I would do is add all of those things up and do like a bigger one. And in here you'd have like 1% tax, 1%, I don't know, what is it, like what are some of the other fees? Okay, 1% airport tax or whatever it is. And in here, if the total is 5%, this just shows us that it's kind of like a miscellaneous feed. Okay, but don't feel that you have to do all those tiny little lines in there. All right, so what do we have left? We should have 2 left. This was this one. Now here, number 5 is 109. So we line up. Remember, if it's greater than 90, you got to go all the way around the protractor to the other side. Put it down, draw it up. Shunk. So the 190 is 30%. And this one was accommodation. And the last one, when you measure it, it should equal, within a couple of degrees, of 137 degrees at 38%. And this is my flight. Color it up pretty, put a title on it, My Amazing Trip, whatever you want to call it. You're good to go. If you have any questions, please send me an email. If you need help, I can help you next week on Wednesday or Thursday at lunch. I think that's all, guys. Sorry for the poor quality of this video. Hope it helps.